Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you a brand new episode, brand new series to be exact, of What If Naruto Found an ancient item in the Forbidden Scroll of Sealand, guys. If you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice, and you enjoy this, why don't you go ahead and just click the red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. Yes, family, because I indeed have 3 channels. Anime King 2, and Anime King 3. And yes, I post What If every single day. Yes, you have not misheard anything every single day. A new What If is posted for you guys to enjoy on each channel. So why don't you go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking about all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode start? The intro. First thing, before this new series begin, the Kyubi, otherwise known as Kurama, is gonna be a bit different because of the way how the first Jinchuriki, Mito Uzumaki, treated him. She apologized for the sealing, yet despite his desire to be free, she could not do that, as she needed him to be sealed, to maintain the peace that Konoha had with the other nations. But she also decided to know him a bit better, and also give him a bit of freedom inside the seal, instead of just saying that he's too dangerous to be given any freedom. And then she introduced Kurama to Kushina before she became the next Jinchuriki, by letting Kushina in her mind to speak with Kurama, and they became friends. That made him a bit more comfortable in his prison, and made him a bit more tolerant to humans. Well, Uzumaki's in particular. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So how about we speed straight into this new episode, guys. It was a peaceful night in the village of the Hidden Leaf. The villagers had done their deeds for the day, and they went home to rest. But it was not so for one person. Amidst the forest, an orange blur could be seen if you squint your eyes. The blur was wearing an orange jacket and orange trousers, goggles perched on his forehead like he wanted to be seen, a pair of blue sandals on his feet. He stopped at one of the clearings in the forest to catch his breath. "Woo," he said. "Finally made it, man. This thing is heavy." As he found the place where he was supposed to meet up with Mizuki. He had short blonde hair, with whisker marks, 3 on each cheek, ocean blue eyes. This person was none other than Naruto Uzumaki, the 12-year-old energetic troublemaker child from Konoha, who is hated by most of the populace, much to his confusion and sadness, because he did not know why. On his back he had a rather large scroll. A scroll that contained many forbidden jutsu, mysterious things in the past. A scroll that was created by the first Hokage Hoshirama Senju to keep many things from prying eyes. And throughout the history, many things was sealed inside of it. How could this mere child possess such a thing, you may wonder? Well, it so happened that the boy was determined to become a shinobi, but yet he failed the test to allow him to become a full-fledged genin of the village, because he could not perform the simple clone jutsu. Iruka Mino, his teacher, who was also like a big brother figure to him, was saddened by this fact, as the child had tried so many times now and he had lost each time, and there wasn't anything Iruka can do, because Naruto could not perform the clone jutsu. On his way to Ichirock Ramen to eat his sadness away, he met Iruka's helper, Mizuki, teacher when Iruka was not there, who said that he would become a genin if he passed the secret test, and that was to steal the forbidden scroll out of the office of the Hokage. Naruto had sensed that there was something wrong, but he was so overjoyed to hear that he would pass. He wasn't that really smart, but he was not an idiot either. But still, he was so happy to hear that he can finally become a genin that override all things that was currently in his head. and he went and did it. Even though there was some hiccups, he was able to steal the scroll. And now here he was waiting for Sensei to come and congratulate him. But his Sensei was nowhere to be seen. Well, I guess I could kill some time, he said, as he decided to open up the scroll. There were many things. Ancient forbidden jutsu, martial arts that he didn't even know anything about, scribes, seals, many things all over the place, as he looked at all the information that the scroll had to offer. But there was one thing that attracted his attention though. The Shadow Clone Jutsu. Not a normal clone jutsu, by any means. Without hesitation, Naruto started to figure how to use it, as he would like to learn something similar to the clone jutsu, the jutsu that he was most horrible at. Meanwhile, the door leading to the library, where the scroll was open. Harrison couldn't believe this. Someone infiltrated his residence and stole the scroll. And not to mention the scroll contained that thing. Harrison quickly made his way towards his crystal ball that he used to monitor the village. As one person popped into his mind, no, he wouldn't do that. But he decided to check anyway. What he saw surprised Naruto, with an innocent smile, moving into the forge to the scroll of sealing. Why did you do this, Naruto? Harrison muttered, in disbelief. There must be a reason. Was it for attention? Or because of anger, due to the fact that he failed the test? No, this is not a smile that one would have out of anger. And this is too far for just some attention, maybe. I should wait a while. Let things unfold, Harrison said, wondering why Naruto, of all people, would do such a thing like that. An hour later has passed, as Naruto had got the clone jutsu down, but Mizuki still hadn't arrived yet. We're easy, said Naruto, as a bad feeling started settling in his gut. Maybe this was a bad idea. He did look fishy when he told me to trust him, said Naruto, as he started to look around, panicking a bit. Unaware to him, his tenant inside of his stomach sighed at his just now realization. Naruto decided to take his mind off his worry by just reading the scroll even more. There must be something else in here that he can learn. Then he found a rather interesting page. It was a containment seal, and there was a note on the side of it. To whoever it may concern, never open this seal, and what's inside of it, for if you do, severe consequences will befall you. Hoshirama Senju. It was signed by the first Hokage himself. Even though the first Hokage said that he didn't want whatever it was to be unleashed to the world, his childlike mind and his curiosity, he couldn't help it. As he started to poke it around, how exactly do I open this thing, he thought. Oh, I know, maybe we'll open it by channel some of my chakra into it. As he placed his palm on the seal, unbeknownst to him, the seal was created by Mito Uzumaki herself, and because of his Uzumaki chakra, it recognized him as a Uzumaki. And then it opened. There was a small poof indicating that he had unlocked the seal as Naruto waited. There was a crystal right over the page. It was glowing blue. What is this thing? Said Naruto, mesmerized by the crystal and the strange feeling that it was giving off. He reached down and grabbed the crystal. The moment he did, he feel something off. It felt like someone was stroking his hair a bit too hard than necessary. His eyes got blurry, his nose got stuffy, and he felt lightheaded. Was he sick? No, that was not possible. Even after eating bowls of ramen, he never got sick. So why now? What's happening to me? The crystal switched to bright red as blood started leaking from his nose, as Naruto fell face first unconscious. Inside the sewer, the manifestation of Naruto's mind, created by the seal, the Kyubi could feel his host's body changing. The moment he touched that crystal that was locked away by Hoshirama Senju, it looks like whatever that thing was, it was capable of changing the structure of his chakra coils. No, the Kyubi thought as he felt Naruto's chakra coils merging completely into his body, giving him a greater extent of control over his power, and in return it also disrupted the seal that imprisoned the Kyubi as he felt it a lot weaker. The Kyubi grinned, not just as the seal was getting weaker, but the massive improvement he had watched how the kid is being denied of his potential just because a Biju was sealed inside of him. The hatred from the people in the village really disgusted the Kyubi, even though he was somewhat apathetic to humans. He wouldn't just go around slaughtering them for no reason. After all, he was being controlled by a man calling himself Mother Uchiha. He did not attack by his own will. That is not what the old man taught him and his siblings. He was being used. But now it seems there was a chance he could get this kid what he should have gotten several years ago. Love, respect, acknowledgement, and not to mention you want to pay the kid back for all the things that he went through because of him being here. Not to mention her involvement in this. Should make things a lot more interesting. Time skip. When Mizuki and Iruka reported Naruto's disappearance a few hours ago, Harrison saw a look on Mizuki's face. It seems like he was happy. He instantly figured the man had something to do with it. So he sent the said shinobis to find Naruto. And he also sent a team of envoys to watch over Mizuki as well. He decided to return back to the crystal ball, as he knew exactly where Naruto was. But Harrison was shocked to what he saw. Naruto on the ground, bleeding through his nose. The crystal in his hand, red. After Iruka got to the scene as he saw Naruto on the ground, "Oh my god, Naruto!" he shouted as he rushed over to Naruto who was lying on the ground. As Naruto's hand was still locked around the crystal tightly, Iruka quickly deduced that the crystal was the cause why he was unconscious. Iruka reached to take it away from Naruto, but the moment he made contact with it, he felt a sensation like his entire hand was dipped in molten lava as he had to pull his hand back immediately. Iruka looked at his hand, and indeed it was burned, but he barely touched it. Right on cue, Mizuki landed in the tree limb. Well, it seems I don't have to do much after all. It seems the demon has killed itself because of its own stupidity. As Mizuki laughed darkly. "Mizuki, so it was you that ordered him to do this," Iruka said. "Who else? He was so eager to become a genin. All I had to do was tell him that he would become one if he stole the scroll, and he jumped right to it. What a fool. Doesn't he realize that no one wants him? Demons like him will be better off dead." "He's not a demon, don't you dare say that. Even though the beast was sealed inside of him, that doesn't make him one. The fourth Hokage sacrificed his life to seal the beast inside of him. At the very least, he should be treated with the respect that he deserves. Without the sacrifice that he also entailed by keeping the beast inside his body, the village would have been destroyed a long time ago." "The fourth Hokage was a fool," said Mizuki. "He should have ordered us to get rid of the baby. If the demon was gone with the baby, there would be no threat for us to worry about." Iruka was taken aback. You would dare to kill a child," he said, "for a burden that he had no choice but to carry. What kind of monster are you?" "I'm not a monster." "That thing is," Mizuki yelled angrily. "And I'll do what the fourth Hokage failed to do, and end him right now." As he pulled the kunai and jumped down as he rushed towards Naruto's unconscious form, Iruka drew his own kunai as he leaped. The two kunais clashed violently. "Why are you protecting him? He murdered your family, if anything. You should be glad that he's dead." Mizuki yelled through gritted teeth as he tried to push Iruka back. "He's not responsible for that. The Kyubi is. To me, he's Naruto Uzumaki, a boy who's determined to overcome people's hatred and prejudice, and to become the greatest Hokage who ever lived. And if you can't see that, then we have nothing to talk about," Iruka said. Mizuki scowled as he managed to push, getting it open as he slammed his fist into Iruka's stomach. Iruka staggered back only to bring his hand up as he slashed across Mizuki's chest with a kunai. "You bastard," Mizuki said as he gripped his chest. He summoned a Fuma Shuriken. "I'll kill you." But he froze when a sword pressed on his throat. He couldn't even move. Behind him was an envoy, flowing purple hair. It was a woman, as she had her sword pressed against his throat. A wrong move, and he might lose his head. She was Yuji Uzuki, one of the envoys of the Third Order, to watch over Mizuki. She heard that he was the one that ordered Naruto. She wanted to know his reasons, but he turned out to be a lot crazier than she thought, thinking that the Jinchuriki was responsible for anything that his tenant did, even though the boy had the beast sealed within inside of him and he was not the beast itself. She made a single gesture with her left hand. As multiple envoys flashed into the clearing, Mizuki's eyes widened when he saw them, as he's severely outmatched and outnumbered. Mizuki was already terrified, but things became a lot worse when the third Hokage arrived on the scene. If looks could kill, well, the look that the third was giving Mizuki would definitely kill him right here and then. Hokage-sama, what are you doing here? A tiger mask envoy said. Harrison just turned towards Mizuki. Take him to Ibiki immediately, he said. Nico, you stay here and look after Naruto. She released her sword away from Mizuki's neck as he was taken away by the envoys. Yujiro turned her attention towards Naruto, as she was one of the envoys that were regularly watching over him when he was younger. He had a tough life because of what was currently inside of him, a really tough life, as she had watched him grow. She wasn't around every time, but she had been able to see him grow into the person that he is now, as she saw Iruka checking over him. His nose had stopped bleeding. The crystal that was once blue then red had turned as black as night itself. It was completely dark. What happened to him, Iruka-san? Said Yujiro. I don't know, the crystal must have done something to him. When I touched it, it burned my hand, he said, showing her his hand. But it was not burning him. He reacted to the crystal amplitude. Both Iruka and Yujiro turned towards Harrison, who spoke. That crystal was found by Tobirama Senju during one of his trips. After looking on one of his small settlements in Hainokune, it released powerful waves of energy in the past, leading to some people who could not withstand the influence to go mad. But this reaction is not what I expected at all, he said, looking down towards Naruto. Take him to the hospital, we need to check his well-being and the crystal effects on him. Iruka nodded as he reached down to pick Naruto up, but Naruto's eyes snapped open as he leaped away. As he stood there looking at them, but his eyes were not normal, they were red, with slits in them. He then looked up towards a tree as he jumped up, landed on a branch before he broke it by leaping straight up in the air. The three of them down there was stunned as Naruto stood in mid-air. He was not falling, he seemed to be floating. The versatility of this power is quite impressive, they heard his voice. He then turned his sight towards, away from them. It was then a booming sound went off as he moved. Gone, shocking the three of them. Time skip in a featureless, grassless area. A rocky terrain of land of fire. Naruto landed as the ground cracked and broke. Before he started to walk, as he looked around, seemed to be looking for something. He then looked down towards the ground, as it was different from the other surroundings. The vibrational energy came from below, said Naruto, as an uncharacteristic grin came on his face. Well, time to test the strength of this power, he said, as he backed away a bit. He closed his eyes as he extended both of his hands forward. He clenched both of his fists. Then with the movements of his hands he released a tremor, a shockwave that was sent rocketing forward. The ground was obliterated. A few drops of blood leaked from his nose, but not like before, as he opened his eyes. As the hole was deep, really deep. He walked over towards the pit as he jumped down. As he flew straight into it, it was rather deep as he flew. The path was straight forward, no branching off, just going down straight. Then he arrived at the heart of the cave. The wall was filled with the same crystal from the scroll. The place was filled with it. Ah, so this is the source of the energy wave. It's a wonder no one can felt it. Maybe it was because he absorbed some of the energy from the smaller crystal. Senju, what have you stumbled upon? The crystal started to hum loudly, responding to him being there. Well boy, sorry for doing this without your consent, but consider this a bit of payback for the shit that happened to you, because of me. As he touched the gigantic crystal in the center, as all of them turned red, just like when he touched the smaller one. Time skip. Naruto felt heavy. He felt like he was being weighed down by stones, hundreds of stones. What happened, he said, as he was confused because everything was white. Where am I? Am I dead? You're not, said a voice. Naruto turned as he froze when he saw the massive Kyubi standing at all of its might. It was large. Compared to the beast, he looked like a small ant. As Naruto was afraid, it was not chained, not shackled, just standing there in front of him. He took a step back, obviously afraid that the beast would devour him whole or something like that. As if he not noticed a boy fear, the fox spoke. Because if you did die, I wouldn't be here now, would I? What are you doing here? Said Naruto, his voice trembling in absolute fear. Spending my leisure time, the fox said. Naruto blinked in confusion. That was not what he expected. He managed to get his bearings in, even though he was still afraid. There is no way that's the reason why you're here. Alright kid, don't get your undies in a bunch, Kyubi said. If you're wondering where you are, you're inside your psyche, the manifestation of your consciousness. Then what are you doing here? Said Naruto. I was sealed inside you by the seal on your stomach when I attacked your village. And I'm also the reason why you're hated by the people in your village. Because for the past 12 years, I have been sealed inside of you, making you a Jinjulki, a human sacrifice. And I am your tenant. The people of the village let their hate cloud their judgment, and they thought of you as a demon offspring, or a demon, which you are not. So, they think I'm you, said Naruto. Precisely, the fox said. As Naruto looked down, as Naruto's fist clenched. All this time, the old man must have known this, yet he never told him why he was hated despite him always asking. As the fox saw something brewing inside the child. But don't you care what they think, he said. You are who you are, and you being my Jinjulki has nothing to do with your character. As Naruto looked up in shock, before his hands dropped to his side. It's kind of sad, isn't it, he asked. What is? The fox said. That I find what you're saying is the best thing that anyone has ever said to me, said Naruto. Well, depending on one perspective, boy. Some might find it incredibly sad that a demon is comforting a child, and that your child would be so messed up that you find it as the most comforting thing anyone has ever said to you. It might be sad, but let this open your mind a bit, as even the Bijus, who are said to be demons of mass destructions, are capable of feeling emotions, and are not evil as you believe. As it took Naruto a few moments before he nodded. I'll keep it in mind. Thanks, Kyubi, he said. Call me Kurama, kid. Okay, Kurama, said Naruto. Now, kid, if you wonder why you're here, there's an answer for that. Which is, said Naruto. Remember that crystal that you found in the scroll? Naruto nodded. Well, it so happens that it did something to your body. Something unprecedented even to your shinobi world. What did it do to me? Said Naruto. It changed you, even more so than what I could do to your genetic pool, and concerned my ability to do so. That said a lot about the crystal. Whatever that Senju found, it changed how your body works. And I controlled your body for a second and wait, said Naruto. You control my body? How? He asked. The seal on your stomach that once held me was weakened. It merged your chakra coils in your body, enabling me to possess you for a few moments. Don't worry, I didn't do anything really bad. Well, maybe except showing your new ability to fly, using your newfound powers, to your current Hokage and 2 others, but that is beside the point. Anyway, I possess your body because I sense similar energy to the crystal that you found, and that led me to a cave, where it was filled to the brim with crystals, much larger than the one that you found, and I absorb everything inside. So you absorb everything from the cave into my body, and in doing so you made me much more powerful than what that little crystal did to me. Yes, basically. Why did you do that? Said Naruto. I mean, what reason do you have to make me strong? Payback, said Kurama. Though, indirectly, you went through a messed up childhood because of me, kid. Know that you're powerful. You won't be looked upon like a dirt anymore. You'll be treated like you should be. Someone that has so much potential that you could unlock it if someone teach you right. Tears started to drip down Naruto's eyes as he was just stunned. For one thing, he never expected the fox to be this generous and kind to him. And not to mention he was given something of value, and someone actually praised him for that. Thank you, said Naruto. Thank you. Tears ran down his face so he could not help it. Kurama sighed as he looked at the son of his previous host. Beneath that happy-go-lucky personality was a delicate heart no matter how he tried to hide it. It was delicate and soft. He tried to shield it away from the world because he's been hurt so much time. But there it was, breaking through. And now he was letting everything out. For all the years he cried. As it took quite a while. Until he started to sniff and wipe his tears away. Feeling better, Kurama asked. As Naruto sniffed one more time. Yeah, a lot, he said. Good. Sometimes it is best to let it out, rather than keep it all inside, said Kurama. Now, the power that the crystal gave you is a power to extend your range of manipulation. For example, with your brain, you can control which way you're going by using your legs to get you there. And with your brain, you can also use your hands to move something towards the direction you wanted to go. Do you understand me? As Naruto nodded, imagining that ability. It basically means you can control things without physically touching them, extending your range of control. And this also means you can control things that you could not before, such as controlling the motion of a rock by just using your brain. And if you're skilled enough, you can also control all forces of nature. As Naruto was shocked by that, getting a bit giddy. That was amazing. How did the crystal give me this power, said Naruto? Sadly, that is something I don't even know. I believe that the Senju was afraid of using his power though. I think Mito mentioned this once when she told me how her day went, but I was too bored to listen to her that day. Damn it. I wish I had paid more attention. Who's Mito? Said Naruto. Mito Uzumaki, my first host. And I believe that she was your great aunt. Seeing that she's not really Kushina's mother. Naruto was getting excited he had a family. All this time. He didn't pause. Wait, your first host? Long story, kid. To make it simple, there were two hosts before you. One of them was Mito Uzumaki. The second one was Kushina Uzumaki. If you want to know who they are, you're gonna have to wait for a while, okay? Naruto was a bit disappointed, but he would wait. Returning back to the previous topic, it's been a few hours since your body absorbed those energy. Your mind forcefully shut your body down, so you wouldn't have to go through the pain of being conscious to feel it. Okay, where am I now, said Naruto? I mean physically. You are still in Hinokuni, but Konoha is a distance away from here. About 100 miles, or less. That far away, huh? Well, what do you reckon I do first, said Naruto? In all honesty, train. This power of yours is massive. You need to learn how to control it before showing it off to your Hokage and your peers. As Naruto knew that he could learn things rather fast, but there was no way he can learn something without even practicing first. So yes, he will have to practice. Okay, any suggestions as where we'll be training, said Naruto. When I flew here, I saw a settlement, not too far, about a half a mile to the west. Go over there and ask for some clothing and such. Your body has changed quite a bit. I'm afraid your previous clothing will not fit you anymore. Naruto nodded. Hey wait, you flew. Using my body. Am I capable of doing that, he said. His tone, not hiding the excitement of being able to fly. You will be after a lot of practice. Now go on. Wake up already. Alright, said Naruto, as he closed his eyes. Before he opened them, as he scratched the back of his head. How do I get out of here? Oh yeah, this is your first time here. Well, just imagine yourself waking up. That's simple, said Naruto. Yeah, that's simple. As Naruto closed his eyes, as he focused on waking up, Kurama watches Naruto start to fade away from the mindscape. Kurama chuckled a bit to think. The power that the Senju was feared to be released on the world would come to this boy. Fate was a rather funny thing, wasn't it? Back in the real world, as Naruto opened his eyes, he was lying down on his chest. As he slowly pushed himself up, he looked around as he saw the crystals. All of them were completely black as the energy had been absorbed. He tried to stand, but he found it incredibly difficult, as he had to lean against a wall. The crystals were dark, so the place was now immensely dark. There was only one source of light, and that was the way out. Seeing that it was now morning, he slowly walked, his feet trembling as he moved, as he felt like his body was not used to it. As he arrived to the hole, but he could barely see it, it was so far up. Great, how can I get out of this cave, he said, as he did not even notice that his voice was deeper, like he had went through puberty or something. But he wasn't focusing on that right now. Why don't you use your powers to lift yourself up? What? Who, who said that? Said Naruto as he looked around. Oh right, forgot to tell you. The seal merged with you so our connection to each other is more deepened than before. You can hear me, even while out there. You don't have to speak out loud. Just reply what you want to say in your mind, and I will hear you as well. Now return to your problem. Try to use your power to lift yourself up. How can I do that? Said Naruto. Just think that you're lifting off the ground. That will be your first lesson. Levitation. Try to lift yourself until you reach the surface. Okay, said Naruto as he prepared himself as he looked down. As he imagined himself going up. The next thing he knew, he couldn't feel the ground underneath him. As the dust and pebbles started to blow away, he was flying. I'm flying! I'm flying! This is amazing, he shouted. Calm yourself, kid. Now push yourself up until you manage to get out of the cave. Oh, okay, said Naruto. As he looked up before he flew straight up. As he crashed lying on the ground outside, right on his face. He pumped both fists in the air. This power is awesome, he says. Don't go celebrating just yet. That was just levitation. True flight is when you're soaring through the sky. That was just the first step, said Kurama. As Naruto pouted a bit. Mood killer, he said. I don't mean to burst your bubble, kid. I'm merely stating a fact. Although, it was pretty quick for him to levitate like that. I guess he has more control over this power than I thought. Maybe I did overact a bit, but I was flying. Well, floating, but it's still awesome, said Naruto. As he thought to himself. No, it isn't. Naruto froze at that. For the record, I can hear what you're thinking as well. So until you find a way to block me, expect me to butt in whenever you're saying or thinking something. Fine. I'll shut up for now, said Naruto. Good. Now, you may notice that your current clothing makes you look like a clown. As Naruto was just feeling the tightness on his feet. As he noticed his sandals was bulging out, he undid them as he released them to see his feet that were a lot bigger than before. He noticed his pants had now become shorts, and they seemed like they were about to burst. His shirt was so tight onto him, he was gripping his skin while gripping it. It seems his body grew more than before. His clothes was not that small when I possessed them, said Kurama to himself. Don't fret, go to the nearest settlement and ask for some clothes. Once they see what you're wearing, I'm sure one of them will be generous enough to give you some clothes, said Kurama. I'm sure they will laugh at me first, and then give me some clothes. But since I don't want to go back to Konoha yet, which way is it? Half a mile from here to the west. Naruto nodded as he started to move off. Wrong way, said Kurama. Oh yeah, said Naruto as he turned, making his way. As Kurama saw Naruto moving towards the place, he decided to move over Naruto's psyche. Due to his chakra coils being forced within his body, the seal had been breaking down, as it was a part of him after all. And now he was no longer confined to that cage, forced to watch as everything happened to Naruto, while the Hokage was able to prevent any physical abuse from being done to Naruto. The harsh treatment was still a lot, and while he was in here, he felt Naruto's negative emotions. When he asked himself why did they hate him for no reason, when he asked why did the merchant overprice his food, as he knew that it was not that expensive. It was lucky that he kept close contact with people like Iruka, Hiruzen, Toki and Ayam. It is only because of their emotional support and his strong will of determination that keeps him away from using my power for revenge. And considering how he was treated if he had asked, I wouldn't be able to say no, said Kurama sadly. But now things are different with this. He could overcome their foolishness and prove that they are wrong. Suddenly he heard something behind him, a crackling sound. He turned to see a light. At first there was nothing, it was formless until the light started to shift down into a humanoid state, forming a human. As he watched as it created something right in front of his eyes. It was a woman, the shape, as she fell on the ground softly. What the hell? As Kurama stepped over, she was as naked as the day that she was born, but he smiled. Not a perverted one, but a smile of interest. Well, well. How did you get in here, I wonder, he said. Time skip. Welcome to Shall Remain. White feather. Weird name, said Naruto. As he looked around the settlement, it was small mostly. It contained several houses. A large hall in the center that seemed to house the local leader, and the people around were minding their own business, doing their activities. He walked towards the general shop as people were looking at him. As one of them started to laugh a bit at his clothing, as Iruka arrived at the shop. Vigilance. As he entered said shop, it was an all-purpose adequate shop. As he looked around, there was a young man attending the counter. Black hair, green eyes, brownish shirt and black pants. He was about 5'7" tall. The young man turned his attention towards Naruto. "Welcome to Vigilance," he said. "Which is the only shop in here, so we're pretty much handling everything," he said. "Well, mostly me. My sister always goes out there and do God knows what. Well, she always brought things. It was junk mostly, but sometimes she brings things that can be sold to other settlements, or one of the other merchants, whether from Konoha or somewhere else, which was a good thing, considering it's one way to gain money." But he trailed off. "I'm guessing that you're not here to listen to my story. Anyway, my name is Sakihara. Shinji. But call me by my given name, Shinji. So tell me, what can I do for you, newcomer?" he asked. Naruto felt a bit awkward after hearing his long ramble, but he then said, "I'm looking for some new clothes." Shinji grinned playfully. "I can see that. But I guess the next thing you're gonna say is that you don't have any money to buy one. Am I correct?" As Naruto laughed sheepishly. "Yeah, you got it right," said Naruto. Shinji sighed. "Can't help it then," he said, as he opened the stairs to the counter right there. "Go upstairs," he said. "The second floor. Open the first door on your left and search the largest jaw. It contains some of my used clothes. Pick something that can fit you." "Thank you," said Naruto as he walked towards the door. "Hey, wait. What's your name?" "Oh yeah, Naruto Uzumaki. Can I ask you something though? It's not that I'm complaining, but why do you trust me so easily?" "Call it a hunch. You look like someone that is not good at lying. And not to mention, they say I'm an excellent judge of character, so I'll see where this take me." "That's it," said Naruto. "Yep, that's it. But you need to pay me back for a while. Stay and do some grunt work." "Ah," said Naruto. "The catch." "Expected that already, did you?" said Shinji. "No worry," he said. "Saying you like that, my eyes are gonna bleed very soon." Naruto smiled sheepishly as he made his way to the stairs. Outside the store, a dark cloud seemed to hang over the villager's head as a figure walked towards the store. The figure was female, 6 feet tall, heart-shaped face, long, spiky brown hair, eyes that hold a rather cold, intense glare. She was wearing an unbuttoned black coat that reached down to her knees, a v-neck black and blue shirt that showed a bit of cleavage, black pants and elegant blue sandals. On her shoulder she had a rather massive sack. There was many things inside, armors worn by bandits, various samurais in the past. There was also some rare jewels, from rubies to diamonds, also even a gold tooth or two. Her unflinching walk intimidated most as she finally arrived to where she was getting, the shop named Vigilance. She knocked twice. Before anyone could answer, she kicked the door that sent it swinging. Shinji wasn't surprised by that. "Welcome home, sister," he said. "You're pretty early." She grinned. It was a pretty quick raid. 2 large camp, no less than 35 bandits. They were hunting around for caravans, for rich people that take these routes. "I've already sold most of my loot to them to the guy. Let's keep the rest on storage for now." "Consider it done," he says. He took the sack as he brought it to the basement. She discarded her coat as she made her way, and she got a sick of jug as she started to drink. The sound to the door, opening upstairs, caught her attention. "This fit nicely. Thanks, Shinji." As she paused, stopped drinking the sink as she looked towards the one that spoke. Young man with spiky blonde hair, tan skin, blue eyes, 3 pairs of whisker marks on each cheek. He was handsome, as he stood around 5 feet 5 inches tall. He was wearing a white, short-sleeved shirt with blue, cylindrical circles around each sleeve, a dark blue jeans with white stripes on each side, and a pair of black shoes. "Those are Shinji clothing. Who is this kid?" "Hey, who are you?" she asked. The boy looked confused before he asked back. "Hey, wait, who are you? You're not Shinji-san." "I asked the questions here, kid. This is my brother's store, and you're a stranger. So who are you?" she said. as Naruto realized that she was Shinji's sister. But Shinji came in at that very moment. "Ah, I see you met my sister, Naruto. Meet Shizuka, she's my older sister. Big sis, meet Naruto. He's our new employee, if you want to call it that." As there was nothing but silence, Shinji was either waiting for one response out of each of them. But Naruto felt a bit awkward and he didn't say anything. As she sighed, "As long as you don't overwork him. We don't need an overworked child on our conscience." "Hey, I'm not a child," said Naruto. "And you don't have to worry. I can handle anything you throw at me." Although, as he walked over to Shinji and whispered something to him. "Of course," Shinji said. "I'm not that theoretical to not give you some free time after all." Then he smiled. Shizuka turned her head, as he was so cute. As her face blushed a bit, "Must resist." Hugging him, she repeated in her head, "Thanks. So when do I start?" said Naruto. "Tomorrow's best, I think," Shizuka said. "Shinji, show him the ropes first." "Of course, I'll be happy to." Shinji then started to explain what he was about to do in the store, and how he was gonna do it. Amidst it all, Shizuka looked towards Naruto. She didn't know why, but he looked so familiar, like she's seen him before. But where would she have seen him before? She don't know. When Shinji finally finished explaining, most it was just mundane stuff. Cleaning, helping customers pick out a few items, delivering package and all that. As Naruto was grateful for the clothing, and how kind they were. So he decided to be a lot kinder back as well. Naruto's stomach then growled, as Shinji chuckled a bit as he brought him towards a restaurant. As Naruto glanced around, there was no one looking at him oddly. Yes, they might look at him because he was new to here, but there was no odd look, no hatred. As he was hungry, even though it was not ramen, he was still hungry. And once you were hungry, you eat. Time skip, it was now afternoon. As Naruto was sitting down in front of the cave, he told Shinji that he would be going somewhere. When Shinji asked for what, he lied and said that he was gonna explore the surroundings. But the real reason was he wanted to practice his new power. When he tried to contact Kurama though, he was unavailable. As Naruto didn't know what was going on there. But first thing first, levitation. He got to master the basics. As he walked over with his pebbles and placed them down, he then sat back down. As he started to concentrate, the pebbles lifted off the ground. As Naruto felt a small itch in his head, it was a bit uncomfortable to lift so much things at once, but still, he was able to keep them up. 30 minutes passed, they were still up. As Naruto pushed a bit further as he lifted himself up as well. The discomfort came back, but it was only half as painful. He must be getting adapted to his powers. 10 minutes later, the pain dispersed as Naruto started to make the pebbles rotate around him as they start to move like an orbit, surrounding the planet as they start to go faster and faster and faster until they were a blur. As he pushed this to its limits to go beyond it to see how far he could go, the pebbles start to make a sound as they start to move with incredible speed until Naruto screamed out in pain as he fell to the ground. A headache just slammed into him in full force as he gripped his skull tightly, his head pounding for a few seconds. As the pain vanished, but he noticed his hand was red as his nose was bleeding once again. He might have overdid it right there and then. Thankfully, the bleeding came to a stop and his head feels fine now. It must be like a rubber. Stretching it too far would make it break. But the more he uses it, the more loose it will get. So I'll keep on practicing, said Naruto. Meanwhile, at the shop. Oi, Shinji, where the hell is that kid? The Sakihara siblings are sitting in the store. They were in the back waiting for the young man who hasn't come back yet. And despite her trepidation tone, Shinji could sense some worry in her tone, as she was worried for the young boy after all. The world was not a kind place. She knew that very well. I don't know, sister. He said that he was gonna take a walk. I have no idea where he went. Shizuka clicked her thumb. A sign of annoyance. You should have asked, she said. No, we don't know where to find him. As if on cue, there was a clicking sound. As the front door opened as they went to go check who it was, seeing that the shop was closed. As Naruto walked in, his hands at his side, he was basically dragging himself. He was exhausted, as there were some remnants of blood on his upper lip. I'm back, he said tiredly. Shinji was about to ask what was going on, but his sister beat him to the punch as she grabbed Naruto as she examined him. You're extremely exhausted, not to mention dehydration. What were you doing to get like this? As Naruto looked up at her weakly. A secret, he said. As she raised her eyebrow, as Naruto saw the looks that he got. I'm alright, he said. I just need to sit down for a bit. Maybe drink something, he said. Yeah, he was really dehydrated. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see next person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notification to be posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in social media platform. But I'm out for now. Remember to share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also look forward for the new episodes coming over Anime King and Anime King 3. Yes, that's right, I do have 3 channels, Anime King and Anime King 3 and Anime King 2, which is this. If you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all your help and support, and yeah, without further ado, I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.